A very good evening and welcome to Well Now at 4. I am Peace Ogenegbawe. First, let's talk the headlines. On the headlines, Buhari orders immediate review of Climate Change Act. Uganda probes army helicopter crash in DR Congo. Saudi Crown Prince named Prime Minister. And on sport, FIFA opens investigation on racist abuse. Now, the news in detail. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari has today in Abuja directed the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and the Minister of Environment, Mohammed Abdullahi, to review Nigeria's Climate Change Act 2021. Buhari premised his directive on the argument that the piece of regulation contained lapses, including the huge cost and bureaucracy created by the establishment of state and zonal offices. According to a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, Buhari made these observations shortly before the kick-off of this week's Federal Executive Council meeting at the State House, Abuja. The statement sets agenda for National Council on Climate Change. Buhari said it is against this background that in November 2021, after COP26 in Glasgow, he signed the Nigeria Climate Change Act despite noticeable implementation challenges inherent in the act to set the framework for mainstreaming climate change action, carbon budgeting, and the establishment of National Council on Climate Change. The federal government, through the presidency, has also said that there has not been any approval granted to state and federation to acquire the automatic weapons for security outfits. This was also disclosed by the presidential spokesperson, Garba Shehu, in a statement noting that President Buhari has said in numerous times that no citizens or state will be allowed to procure AK-47 or any other weapon illegally. He specifically explained the scenario of Katsina State, where many believed it has acquired weapons. The presidency further went on to appreciate the active involvement and effort of the states in fighting the insecurity bedeviling the nation. Federal High Court sitting in Damaturu has ordered the All Progressives Congress, that is the APC, and the Independent National Electoral Commission, that is INEC, to recognize Bashir Machina as Yobe North senatorial candidate for the party. The presiding judge, Justice Fadima Motala Aminu, nullified the parallel primary election that produced the Senate President, Ahmed Lawan, on June 9, 2022. The judge also ordered the APC to forward the name of Machina to INEC as the authentic winner of the primary held in May. The judgment was coming weeks after Machina distanced himself from notice of withdrawal from the race, which has since gone viral. It will be recalled that on August 9, 2022, there were reports that INEC denied recognizing Lawan and Senator Godswill Akpabio as senatorial candidates of the APC respectively. Both Lawan and Akpabio had contested the APC presidential primaries. However, after losing, both of them were listed as senatorial candidates by the APC, but INEC refused to recognize them. A federal high court sitting in Abeokuta, Ogun State capital, has nullified all primaries conducted by the various factions of the People's Democratic Party in the state. The presiding judge, Justice Oluremi Oguntoyinbo, called for a rerun of the primaries within 14 days. The court declared that all the primaries conducted by the PDP in the state were not in accordance with the provisions of the Federal Electoral Act. Justice Oguntoyinbo also stopped the Independent National Electoral Commission, that is INEC, from recognizing Ladi Adebuto as the governorship candidate of the party in the state. While reacting to the judgment, the counsel for the plaintiff, Thaddeus Idenyi, said the court was specific that it used the list that has been certified by INEC.
People have to put their hearts together and then conduct a fresh primary as ordered by the court. At this time around, the court was specific that they have to use the list that has been certified by INEC, because after the primaries, those lists were submitted to INEC as a part of his report of covering those World Congresses held. So the court has now said that is the list which must be considered in the conduct of the first primaries.
And while counsel for a factional governorship candidate of the party, Segun Showunmi, Monday Mawa, while speaking after the judgment, said he was in the court to represent Showunmi after he was joined as the fourth defendant in the suit.
Happened today was that, the matter was brought in by some delegates who said they are not allowed to participate in the state congress that took place in Ogun State some time ago. And of course, they approached the court to contest that they were not allowed to participate. And of course, my client, Segun Showunmi, was also sued as the fourth defendant in the matter. But my Lord, in its infinite wisdom today, nullified the entire primary that took place in Ogun State, from governorship to state assembly level.
The party had on May 25 conducted the primary election, which saw Adebutu emerge as the governorship candidate. Let's now move to other parts of Africa after this break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Join me as we go to Guinea, where the former Guinean dictator Moussa Dadi Camara and several of his co-defendants have been sent to prison on Tuesday after a brief court appearance. 11 former military and government officials went on trial for their role in a 2009 massacre at the stadium in the capital, Conakry. A group of NGOs and opposition parties organized a pro-democracy rally at a stadium in Conakry on September 28, 2009, and thousands of people gathered to protest against the possible candidacy of Camara in the presidential polls due to take place in January 2010. However, Camara seized power during the December 2008 coup, just hours after the death of the country's first leader, Ahmed Sékou Touré. He has been accused of being responsible for sending police and soldiers into the venue, which saw 150 people die and more than 100 women raped during the attack. In Uganda, Army has begun an investigation into a military helicopter crash in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, which occurred on Tuesday. The Army has appointed a 12-member team that starts work today according to the spokesperson of the Uganda People's Defense Forces. The chopper crashed as it took off shortly after delivering food and other essential items to soldiers currently fighting alongside Congolese forces against the Uganda rebel group, the Allied Democratic Force Rebels. The tail rotor of the helicopter reportedly struck a tree, causing it to spin and crash. However, the numbers of dead and injured have not been released. Brigadier General Kolegaye said the information will be available after the next of kin have been informed, but that the injured have been taken to the military hospital. However, 2 soldiers survived without injuries after they jumped out of the helicopter. We now go to other parts of the world after this break. To stay with us. This is World Now at 4 on Hills TV. Welcome back. Saudi Arabia's crowned prince, Mohammed bin Salman, has been appointed Prime Minister, a post that is traditionally held by King. The 37-year-old son of King Salman bin Abdulaziz, who is 86, is already seen as de facto ruler of the oil-rich Gulf state. The royal decree announcing his promotion from Deputy PM and Defense Minister cited an exception to the Basic Law. An official told newsmen the move was in line with the king's previous delegation of duties to him. The king, who has been admitted to hospital twice this year, will continue to chair the cabinet meetings he attends. But the decree named another of his sons, Prince Khalid bin Salman, as a new defense minister. A third, Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman, remains in the key role of energy ministry in the world's biggest oil exporting country. Few people outside Saudi Arabia had heard of Mohammed bin Salman before his father became king in 2015. The European Union yesterday denounced the falsified outcomes of illegal referendums Russia had held in occupied territories in Ukraine. Bloc-stop diplomat Joseph Borrell noted that this is another violation of Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity amidst systematic abuses of human rights. Borrell echoed a statement issued by European Council President Charles Michel late on Tuesday evening. Moscow has been holding referendums that are illegal under international law in the 4 Russian-occupied Ukrainian regions of Kherson, Donetsk, Luhansk, and Zaporizhzhia to justify annexing them to the Russian Federation. Kyiv and countries around the world repeatedly denounced the 5-day vote in areas under martial law, and Putin had previously stressed that the territories would be completely under the protection of Russia, including its nuclear arsenal, if the referendum results showed a majority for annexation. Let's now bring you news from the United States, where it has said it will introduce a resolution at the United Nations Security Council condemning referendums held by Russia in occupied regions of Ukraine. The U.S. ambassador to the UN said on Tuesday that the resolution is to be introduced jointly with Albania, who calls on member states not to recognize any altered status of Ukraine and also obligates Russia to withdraw its troops. Envoy Linda Thomas-Greenfield said at a council meeting that the United States is weekly on. Meanwhile, the nation in New York did not immediately respond, but the council, which has met over 20 times on Ukraine this year, has been unable to take meaningful action because Russia is a permanent veto-wielding member alongside, as it called for Russia to be excluded from all international break. To stay with us. Thanks for joining us on Business News this evening. The Central Bank of Nigeria has lent 9.3 trillion naira to businesses and has recovered 3.7 trillion naira from it. The Apex Bank said 5 trillion naira was not yet due, and this came from the Director of Development Finance, CBN, Yusuf Yila, who disclosed this to journalists today in Abuja, noting that manufacturers got 31% of the fund, which was the biggest chunk. He noted that intervention funds had been slowed down in the bank's efforts to rein in inflation. He further said that 1 trillion naira had been disbursed under the Anchor Borrowers Program, while 400 billion naira had been recovered. He also warned debtors to repay, as the bank had collaborated with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to set up a desk with a view to recovering the loans. In Europe on Tuesday, it said it was investigating claims of international attack leveled by several countries. Poland's foreign minister, while speaking, pointed fingers at Russia, though without evidence. Meanwhile, according to RAW, the explosions took place very close to Danish territorial waters, but not within the Danish territorial waters. Sweden Prime Minister Magdalena Andersson also explained a deliberate act. Head of Denmark's energy agency, Christopher Badzow, says it could take a week for gas to stop draining out of Nord Stream 2. The ships could lose buoyancy if they enter the area, and one that's because the sea surface is full of methane, there is an increased risk of explosions. Let's now join Richard Badung as we get to sports news on World Now at 4. To stay with us.
Very good evening to you and welcome to Sport News on World Now at 4. I am Richard Badum. Super Eagles have failed to hold on to their early lead on Tuesday in Iran to lose 1-2 to host Algeria in an international friendly. Meanwhile, Terry Murphy gave the Nigerian side a 9th-minute lead, but Manchester City forward Riyad Mahrez drew Algeria level with a penalty kick goal in the 41st minute. Midfielder Yusuf Atal scored in the 61st minute to hand the Desert Foxes the lead and ultimately the win. Reacting to the loss, coach Jose Peseiro said it was a good match but not happy his side lost to the Algerian side. Nigeria is yet to win any game against the North African side since 2016.
Strong match. It was a good match. I think he did in the camping. You show the quality of our players and our collective job also. I think you could beat, of course, this hard match because Algeria is a good team, but our players try to do what you ask them, what I do in the practice. Okay, I think it's possible. Okay, you lost. I am sad because I lost. I don't like to lose the match, any match, but I am happy with the job of my players. They do. I'm very happy about what my players did in the pitch. Okay, it's the Rafael and Godwin.
Meanwhile, French Ligue 1 club FC Lorient has celebrated its attacker Terry Murphy after scoring for Super Eagles against the Desert Foxes of Algeria. The Desert Foxes in Iran, and it was Murphy who netted Super Eagles' only goal of the game. Murphy has been in terrific form since the start of the league season and they have scored 6 goals so far this season. The club posted the video of his goal on its Twitter handle with an inscription on it. Murphy is expected to lead the line again when League One resume later this weekend. Now talking sports, still Rory McIlroy has called on LIV golfers to take a leading role in mending the fractured relationship between the sports rivaling tours. The four-time major winner has been one of the most outspoken critics of the Saudi-funded series. Since the new series launched in June, tensions have been high between LIV and the established PGA and European tours. 3 players and LIV Golf are proceeding with a lawsuit filed against the PGA Tour over circuit. 8 LIV golfers, including Phil Mickelson and Ian Poulter, have removed themselves from the case. Meanwhile, a vocal opponent of the new series, McIlroy, has maintained there will always be scope of peace talks between the tours, but warned that now is not the best time to engage in such dialogue. Before we leave you on sports, World Football Governing Body FIFA has opened an investigation after Tottenham forward Richarlison had a banana thrown at him as he was racially abused during Brazil's friendly win over Tunisia in Paris on Tuesday. The incident occurred as the former Everton striker ran towards the corner flag to celebrate scoring his side's second goal in the 5-1 win at the Parc des Princes. FIFA, World Football Governing Body, issued the statement today, and it reads in part: First and foremost, FIFA strongly rejects any form of racism and violence and has a very clear zero-tolerance stance against such behavior in football. Five-time world champions Brazil had posed 4 photographs with an anti-racism banner which read, "Without our black players, we shouldn't have stars on our shirts." The Brazilian Football Federation later issued a statement via Twitter condemning the abuse on Richarlison and calling for strong punishments. And that's your sport news on World Now at 4. Back to Peace Ogedegbawe for the rest of the news. I am Richard Badum.
Welcome back. The family of Laolu Martins has announced the death of the young entrepreneur. A statement released by the family today said the quintessential banker with over 21 years of experience in investment banking, corporate banking, management and pension fund